sisters and brothers. We've got to fight every single day because it is about the future of our children. But just as important, this is about the future of our country.
There is a lot of political change in the wind as it pertains to state-funded assistance for child care.
Kinder care operators worry that parents will not be able to afford their child care after the state budget cuts. One program that could be cut under the new budget provides money directly to parents for them to pay for their child care.
Child care assistance program says lawmakers didn't provide the money. Without it, daycares across the city will have to close, perhaps across the state.
Statewide, including hundreds right here in San Diego. Under Governor Jerry Brown's budget plan, $517 million will be pulled from government-funded child care. And as 10 News reporter Hannah Mullins found out, the backlash has already kicked in.
This small group has some big concerns. They're hoping lawmakers will approve a bill that restores funding for Illinois' child care assistance program.
I just couldn't believe it. I mean, how do they expect parents to work for us as providers to pay our bills?
But the announcement yesterday basically shuts down assistance to low-income working people. We don't understand how this society can say people who can work should work, able-bodied people ought to get out there and get a job, but we're going to withdraw the minimal kinds of supports necessary for them to do that.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me?
Mic check. Mic check.
Mic Check is a show where we conduct various street interviews geared to hear the voice of the hard-working class residents of New York City. Every second of every minute of the day, week, month, and year, there is always something happening in the city. The problem is, the majority of our stories are being told for those media conglomerates that only spit out one-sided views. Mic Check's mission is to give a full 360-degree on major events, protests, and political agendas that matter to you the most. We are here to inform, educate, and entertain the working class residents with information that is vital to your survival. Childcare is a safe environment, primarily daycare centers, in which a child can both physically and mentally grow and learn new things that will help develop their early childhood education. Many other forms of childcare are after-school programs, recreational centers, youth organizations such as YMCA, YWCA, Boys and Girls Club of America, and many other programs. What are the benefits of childcare? Just like plants grow to reach their full potential to help maintain the balance to this world, well, children too. A child must grow, especially in a space where there are appropriate tools that can help build the imaginative minds of young children. In fact, recent research confirms that the first 5 years are particularly important for the development of the child's brain, and the first 3 years are the most critical in shaping the child's brain's architecture. Early experiences provide the base for the brain's organizational development and functioning throughout life. They have a direct impact on how children develop learning skills as well as social and emotional abilities. Also, parents who work hard and have busy schedules can feel secure knowing that their child is in safe hands of trained and experienced professionals whose job it is to aid children in their progress to discovering happiness, not to mention early social skill development. What is a child care provider? A child care provider is an organization or an individual who provides services to a child, such as local daycare centers or babysitters, also known as nannies. What is the cost of childcare? It can vary depending on the income of the parent, the location and where the parent lives, the age of the child, the amount of hours the child stays in the center, and ultimately what type of childcare a parent chooses. However, childcare services can cost up to $20,000 a year. That's at least $200 to $2,000 a month.
Just like a few friends.
And my friend, yeah, she's 18. Well, she finds it pretty easy so far. Her husband's in the military, so.
Yes.
Who is that?
Well, my stepsister was she was like 17 when she got pregnant. And then I had two friends who got pregnant, but she was actually doing a great job because with my nephew because she made her own business. She still went to college, but she made her own what's that word? She made her own cleaning business. So like she was really doing a good job, and she was still going back to college. So out of all three of the people that I know, she was the one who did the best.
Yes, I do. I have a cousin. She was pregnant. She had her child, and basically her mother helps her out. She basically supports the child, but my cousin also, she works and she goes to school, so she also maintains the child together.
I actually do have a cousin who has a child, and basically she has to drop out of school and everything, so she's not really doing too well raising the child, but she's raising the child.
Yes, I do. I have two cousins who had kids when they were teenagers, basically, and most of the time the grandmother ends up being the one looking after the kids when they have to go to work. It's really tiring. I'm a mother, and I know I have a full-time job, and I look after my son whenever I'm off work, and I'm always exhaustion is the constant state of people who work and have kids.
We're going to be part of the youth in this generation. And we're going to be part of the youth in this generation. Who are part of putting an end to those days. Who are part of putting an end to those days. When this system and its enforcers. When this system and its enforcers. Does whatever they want to people. Does whatever they want to people. Without people being inspired and organized. Without people being inspired and organized. To stand up. To stand up. And build up the strength to end this madness. And build up the strength to end this madness.
Being snatched up, they're being gunned down by the police, they're being trapped and sent to prisons for lifetimes. Over 80,000 people are in solitary confinement, treated worse than animals. This is a criminal system. It was founded on slavery. You had 100 years of Jim Crow terror, and now you have the new Jim Crow, and it's not going to end until we end this system. This is why we're talking about real revolution. We're out here to fight for justice for Trayvon Martin. But we're also here because 30 years from now, 20 years from now, we don't want to be looking at this again.
Every time you hear about young people being murdered, either by police, or by racist vigilantes, you have people who say, okay, maybe what happened there is wrong. But you know, these youth are no good. They can't be about nothing. Well, I'm here to say, you're wrong. Yes, they can. Yes, they can.
About 7,000 State Department of Defense employees' gross pay would be reduced by about $37 million. Nearly 2,600 children will no longer get MMR, tetanus, whooping cough, and flu vaccines. And here in Metro Nashville alone, as many as 120 children could be pulled from the educational Head Start program.
Under the decision that was issued yesterday, effective April 1, no persons can apply for child care assistance from the Commonwealth of Kentucky based on income until June 30, 2014.
Perry County will lose its quality-rated child care center that helped us attract business and industry, that keeps people working and productive, and prepares our children to succeed in school. All that goes away come April.
I'm not sure how many providers are going to keep them doors open and say, hey, I'm just going to wait on the state, because it's impossible.
You know, I could barely afford to pay the $100 that I do pay right now, but it's just insane how my mortgage is one paycheck alone. The daycare would be another paycheck, you know. There's no way I could afford it.
You need workers. This is not a one-person's job, as you can see.
What is a budget cut? A budget cut is the process in which the government reduces the amount of spending on particular resources. However, a budget cut has a negative impact on day-to-day financial expenses. Basically, most child care programs are funded by governmental programs like ACS that provide low-cost care services like after-schools and daycares. How does it affect child care? It ends up costing parents to pay twice as or 3 times as much money to provide pay for their child's services. And unfortunately, many parents cannot afford hundreds to thousands of dollars a month and a year to pay for something that was once affordable. Also, it ends up with child care providers losing its members that shortens the staff, doubling the workload, and ultimately has the providers shut down, which could leave parents to leave their job, fall back from school, leave their child in the care of someone else, or home alone. So whenever Congress gets together and say, we need to save so-called money because we're in so-called debt, they turn around and take back or cut off the funding to those programs that help aid working class people. According to CampaignForChildren.com fact sheet on Mayor Bloomberg's 2014 preliminary budget, on January 29, 2013, Mayor Bloomberg released his final preliminary budget for 2014. While the mayor has one last opportunity to stabilize the child care and after-school systems, his budget proposals fail to do this. Not only does this budget fail to maintain the one-year funding restored by the City Council in 2012, it proposed additional cuts to both child care and after-school systems. A cut for $64.6 million previously funded by the City Council. A cut for $51.4 million for 3,500 child care center slots. A cut for $12.1 million for 4,400 school-age child care vouchers. A cut for $100,000 for job training and placement for child care workers. And a cut for $0.1 million for technical assistance for child care providers. Also, additional funding is also needed to adequately reimburse child care programs as the current early learn rate is insufficient. And also, 2014 preliminary budget cuts for after school. A cut for $56.2 million for slots previously funded by the City Council. A cut for $50.9 million for 29,700 out-of-school slots. A cut for $4.4 million for 5,600 beacon slots, a cut for $926,000 for 733 NYCHA cornerstone slots, and a cut for $10 million for 5,316 out-of-school time slots. That's a total of more than $113 million for more than 50,000 children.
Con los terroristas.
Harlem Shake.
I think this is terrible. I think this is disgusting. I don't understand why you guys are imitating it. This is worse than blackfacing. This is ridiculous. Why are you guys disrespecting Harlem? Why? Wasn't this made in like Ethiopia?
Every time you hear about young people being murdered, either by police or by racist vigilantes, you have people who say, okay, maybe what happened there is wrong. But you know, these youth are no good. They can't be about nothing. Well, I'm here to say, you're wrong. Yes, they can.
So what can we do in the midst of this financial crisis? Take action. Start a campaign. Call your elected city leaders and let them know that childcare needs to be saved. Let your council members know that your child needs to have a safe, healthy, and affordable environment in which they can grow strong and become the future that we need. Email the mayor and let him or her know the importance of having childcare in your city and neighborhood and what effects cutting back will systematically do to your child's future. Remember, this is a community effort. No one stands alone on this.
gonna be part of the youth in this generation. And we're gonna be part of the youth in this generation. Who are part of putting an end to those days. Who are part of putting an end to those days. When this system and its enforcers. When this system and its enforcers. Does whatever they want to people. Does whatever they want to people. Without people being inspired and organized. Without people being inspired and organized. To stand up. To stand up. And build up the strength to end this madness. And build up the strength to end this madness.
Traditional elections, youth are excluded. Often, you know, low-income folks are excluded, or people, parolees, or folks who have a record. But PB is about engaging those people, engaging you guys, because we know you guys have the power and the intelligence to make just as smart budget decisions as anyone else in the elected official.
Through the participatory budgeting process, community members directly decide how to spend at least $1 million of capital funds in 8 participating districts of New York City. In collaboration with Community Voices Heard, Councilmember Melissa Mark Riverito hosted 7 different assemblies for District 8 residents to propose, discuss, and vote on different projects that could be funded by the participatory budget. The Youth Channel was able to get behind the scenes of one of these meetings, a special assembly put together for young people ages 14 to 24 to decide the projects they thought would benefit the entire District 8 community the most.
So our district has 3 components, okay? So you're looking at, right here, you get the East Harlem component. We also have part of the Upper West Side, and then we have a small section of the Bronx, okay? So we have a small section of Mount Haven. We also have, which is kind of cut off, but we also have Central Park. We have Randall's Island, and we have Ward's Island as well. So the districts spread kind of wide. Okay, so when you're thinking about ideas, think of things that fit within the district, okay?
Change up that gym. Maybe a daycare could be put in for the people that go to school and got kids. Yes.
As far as scan goes, there's like so many empty rooms they're not using.
That's not using, but they need to be fixed.
Exactly.
Because they're not safe.
So everybody on the East Side
a lot of
benefit from that.
Even people from the West Side can come over there and benefit from that.
Fix existing rooms when I'm missing.
Yeah.
Something about the safety? Like what?
Yeah, we need to make it safe so people from the outside can feel comfortable and come in and stay out the street.
Like the gym floor is concrete and tile on top of that.
Something like a positive energy, like where everybody feels good as soon as they step in the building.
I know Wagner Projects, all the concrete, the sidewalks and inside the project is cracked and is unleveled and everything.
Oh yeah, she came prepared, pulling out the notes.
Oh, she ready. Oh yes. Let me see that.
Today was our groundbreaking, historic, participatory budgeting project, putting real decision-making power in the hands of real people. What does that mean? That means getting away from the more elite democracy that we see. Where groups like youth are excluded, and instead empowering, putting the power in the hands of youth. So today was a youth assembly, because we're intentionally trying to target groups like youth, formerly incarcerated immigrants, low-income people of color. And then we had about 70 or 80 youth. You know, many of them probably don't traditionally participate in our political system, right? They probably vote at lower rates. A lot of them are excluded from the voting process. And with the Republican attacks on voting now, a lot of them may not be able to vote. But they were all here today.
My group, stuff that won, well, we got a gym floor for life science and Boys and Girls Harbor. The first one that won is the bathroom renovations at Ward's Island. The second one
is the elevator renovations at Wagner.
It's underneath the Metro North along Park Avenue, along the archways. It's dark at night, and sometimes some people describe it as being scary.
30 to 40 laptops for special education at Park East High School. Our second idea was gym and roof repairs for Boys and Girls Harvard. And our third idea was history media lab, iPads, laptops, construction for PS 171.
To expand urban garden on Park Avenue and 116th Street. It's a garden that was going to turn into a farm, and it was going to be a greenhouse that's better for the community, and people could come in and learn how to do stuff like that, like young people, different classes.
There's the iPad cards at Innovation High School. And the fourth one is the dance studio here. Hey, it was in time.
Once in my life, like I feel like we as the people, we gotta say so now. You feel me? As far as what they spending the money on. If you look at a lot of things they spending money on now, I think it's ridiculous. First thing they need to do is just, because there's only like a handful of districts that's participating in this right now. So right now, we really just need to get all districts on board. When you have more districts on board, now you got more communities that's being looked upon as far as instead of just, East Harlem and Mott Haven, we need to branch this out more so that we can spread the awareness.
What's up, tweeters? I know you all got Twitter pages by now. Follow the Youth Channel's Twitter page and see what we're working on, what shows are on air, and much more. Follow A Pioneer channel by and for youth made media. Follow the YC. Log on to twitter.com/youthchannel.